You've mentioned before that a lot of your beats, the way that you make them, you often start over if you don't see the immediate potential in them. Has that always been the way that you've worked, and what kind of is the mindset behind that? I saw on Instagram that you made 1.6 thousand beats over 2025.
I did, yeah.
How do you achieve numbers like that?
It's some people frown upon that and they say just trust the process, but it's kind of, I see it as building like a house. Like if the foundations of a house aren't good, then the roof is going to fall off, or, you know, so it's not going to get anywhere. And I kind of see that with when I make a beat.
Shacking Up with FREYA MCCARTHY. Hello and welcome to Shacking Up with FREYA MCCARTHY. We're on episode 2. We are here to talk all things emerging artists coming out the Midlands in my shed. Welcome. Today's guest is an artist and producer from the West Midlands in the world of drum and bass with ambient soundscapes, balancing energetic drum breaks and rich layers of sound design. He brings a fresh take on drum and bass, bringing the genre forward. Alongside this, his props in engineering, mixing and mastering for a range of genres from pop to folk to electronic are impeccable. Today's guest is responsible for Pint of Tea, Fuck Off, and some great music. Welcome, Seven You'd.
Hello, nice to be here.
Yeah, how's your day going?
Very good. The day's going very well. I've just had a lovely cup of tea in the McCarthy household.
Nice.
It's very nice, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I wanted to ask you was, what have you been listening to recently? Kind of who and what's on your radar?
I've been listening to a lot of McGee.
Yes.
I'm hoping he's going to drop a new album because I'm slightly overplaying his latest one. I've been listening to a lot of rap stuff.
Nice.
A lot of electronic stuff. It's kind of a mix of cool shit.
What's kind of been inspiring you lately? Like, what's the last song that kind of brought you to your laptop to make something?
Sometimes it's not even a song. Like, sometimes I'll see a clip of someone, like a piece of music they made, or like a beat, or like a little riff, and I'll just be like, I want to go make something. Anything. Any sort of like cool stuff.
Nice. And what is your favourite thing about music in the Midlands? Or what's kind of exciting you at the moment?
It's surprising how much there is, because you always think that there's more stuff down south and in the bigger cities, so like London and Manchester, but it's surprising how much smaller and unique artists are in the Midlands, and it's just interesting to see that, really. I think one of the things I've definitely come across is historically some of the bigger artists that have come out of this part of the country are very like rock focused, so I think a lot of people associate that kind of music with around here, so I think it's really nice to see so much like diversity in genre and stuff. I agree, 100%.
So I saw on Instagram that you made 1.6 thousand beats over 2025.
I did,
which, first of all, very impressive.
Thank you.
And I also just wanted to ask, how do you achieve numbers like that? How does your creative process, like, what does that look like? Do you have like a routine for creating?
So it's not always just me, like I'll always collaborate with other people. The creative process, it's kind of just like I set like a target to make in a day, and I'll do that. It's usually about 5 or 6. Some days I'll make like 12. I'll just sit down for like hours. And it's kind of like, because I think I'm a little bit special in the head, and I'll just kind of lock in, and I kind of just hyperfixate on doing something and not stopping until I get it done. It's kind of just roots down to that, really, and just doing it for so many years now. It's kind of just, I can just do it.
Do it with your eyes closed, do it in your sleep. If you ever like had a dream where you're just like in the studio making beats?
Sometimes. There was a day where I did 25. I went to bed and I was still there. So it does happen.
Yeah. What are like some of your tools in your process then? Like, what are some pieces of gear you're always using, or plugins, or VSTs, or samples?
Pieces of gear, my headphones, my DT990 Pros. Personally, I think the best headphones you can get for mixing. Secondly, stock Logic EQ. I think it's just the best thing you can get. Like, it's one of the best stock plugins. And the same with the compressor. It's like, you don't need all the bells and whistles sometimes. I think you can just stick to the roots of the DAW and just produce off of that. I do use, obviously, external stuff. I use probably a synthesizer called Serum.
Yes.
That's probably one of my go-to synths. I really like that one. And then effects, there's a really good delay one called Replica.
Heard of that one.
I use that all the time. That's really good.
Nice.
Nothing too crazy.
I think one of the things things that people oftentimes, when they like are getting into production stuff, they're a little bit overwhelmed by how much is out there with tools in general, whether that's plugins or different DAWs or pieces of gear or microphones. But I definitely think that one of the best methods is learn what you have and get really good at that, and then add to your toolkit.
I think I know what you mean about that overwhelming thing, because there's a lot of stuff out there, and it can be, well, what do I get first? If you really learn the basic stuff and get that so you can do it with your eyes closed, you can just do anything.
What's kind of exciting you about the industry right now then? Who have you got your eye on? Who's kind of interesting you?
With the rap stuff, there's a lot of underground rap at the moment in the UK. And it's stemmed from accents, which I find quite interesting. So different people coming forward and starting to rap with different accents, and then it's kind of showing these new kind of subgenres of rap. And then just music itself is kind of, it's always evolving, but I feel like with AI, it's kind of having to change constantly more than it already was. Because personally, I think AI music is, am I allowed to swear?
Yes.
Fucking shit.
Yeah.
And I don't like it at all, because it's just slop, and it shouldn't be able to earn money. I think if you want to make it, you can, but you shouldn't be able to earn money from making it, because there's already no money in the music industry anyway. And then I'd also say music itself, how it's developing in the UK, is very interesting at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I wanted to talk about with you was your like approach to collaboration, being a producer. Yeah. Which I know we briefly touched on, but how do you usually connect with other creatives you're working with? Is it usually like online, in person, a bit of both? What do you kind of prefer?
Usually it's online, so it's on Instagram, Telegram, and I meet people and I either send them melodies or they send me melodies and I do beats on them and stuff. Or I have done stuff in person with people. In December I went to London and I met a load of producers and we made a load of beats, and I met all of them online, but it was good to make the connection and, you know, network with them and kind of just meet them as well, because they're like, when you collaborate with someone for so long, you see them as a friend, I think, and it's good to actually meet them properly. I'd say a bit of both, really. So online and then in studios and in sort of like workspaces like that.
I like what you said about like meeting them in person and getting to just like hang out with them and become friends and that kind of stuff, because I think that that's something that's very important, especially when you're more at the beginning of your career, because it's helpful to have like a network of people creatively, sure, but also those people are people that support you or are just like people you enjoy being 100%. Around, because that's going to make great music, that's going to make you feel good, you're just going to enjoy that kind of time in your life better when everyone's kind of like figuring out where they are in their career, what they want to be doing, all of that kind of stuff. Definitely. One of the things I really wanted to ask you, which I know you kind of dabble in different genres and stuff outside of your own, but what's a different genre outside of your usual music that you'd really like to work in?
I quite like ambient stuff. I don't do much ambient stuff, but just like really basic ambient synths, piano, that sort of stuff. And that's what I'm doing for my album at the moment.
Nice.
Doing bits and bobs for that. Just kind of experimenting and just making cool new weird sounds.
Yeah. Is that what's kind of like led you to wanting to do stuff for like audio visual work? Yeah,
I think so, yeah. It's all kind of stems from that. I just love it.
I guess it's nice to like have sort of your different outlets creatively, even like in just music. It doesn't have to be that you're like also a photographer or something like that. Who are some artists who you are really loving in the Midlands specifically?
I've got a DJ, a friend who's a DJ and a house producer. He's called Alex Gilby. He's a really good DJ. Probably my friends, really. I'd say a lot of my friends at the moment.
But I guess that just links back to what you were saying. You kind of want to be working with people who you also like as people.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Is something like DJing or live production stuff something you want to work on?
I'd say so, yeah. In the future, it's just DJing is very expensive, and getting the right gear and getting the gear that they have in the clubs is expensive.
Yeah.
Live stuff I would like to look more into. It's just where I get the time from. Probably something I'll do in the near future. Definitely.
Yeah, I can see you branching into that a little bit more. So obviously I know that working in studios and stuff is something you really love, but I think it'd be nice to see you in like a performance space as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like that's not something that's done properly or has been done properly apart from DJing, how you as a producer can perform.
I think one of the things that's really interesting with, you mentioned McGee earlier, McGee and Dijon and like other artists as well, but those are just like a few to name, kind of bringing the production into the live live and letting both kind of interact with each other, whether that mean like the live is existing on the record stuff is existing in like samples and stuff in the live performance.
And this is what I was saying about music evolving. It's kind of like with the whole McGee stuff, it's a lot of it's from the 80s and a lot of it's really 80s inspired. And you can see that, but you can see the modern sort of flair and twist on it and how he's changing it to be modern stuff.
We're a big fan of McGee in this part of the country, in our little group of musicians.
We are, definitely.
Yeah. I know we've briefly talked about like your experience with A&R and sending beats to use for other artists and stuff, but tell me a bit more about that process, and do you approach it differently to making your own stuff?
So with the A&R stuff, it's kind of like, this is an unfortunate thing about music, I think, but 80% of it is who you know, I think, and sending stuff to get it to other people who are considered bigger than you. And with that, it's kind of like people I've just met over the years, just from meeting people. It's word of mouth, really. They say, this guy's cool. Someone gives them my number or something like that, and then they send me a text and say, send some beats, I'm going to some studio sessions. And it's how it works, really. It's just random. Sending stuff out to other producers and sending collabs back gets you places. It gets them to your beats into studios.
With the process of making that stuff, do you get precious of your work? Have you ever made something for a producer and been like, actually no, I want this, like I'm gonna send them something else?
Sometimes, yeah, but it's that thing of like, I see the A&Rs as my friends, do you know what I mean? Even though if I haven't met them face to face, I trust them to know what to do with something like a good piece of music. I trust them to send it to the right person. And there are some times where I'm like, actually want to keep this for myself, but not all the time.
You're like, no, actually, this is not for me. I'm too precious of everything I make. I can't make anything for anyone else ever. What led you to making music as a kid?
I don't know. Mum and Dad were like, you need to learn an instrument. So I started learning piano when I was really young. And I did that for a long time while I was in school. And then when lockdown started, I got a computer. I was looking into it and I got really bored on all the Teams lessons. So I just never went to them and just started making music on not Logic. I started on GarageBand. Shout out GarageBand. And then I brought Logic. Yeah. I worked this summer to get my £200 and I brought Logic in the summer of just before we started college, 2021. And then, went from there really.
Yeah, I think definitely shout out GarageBand because free music stuff. I mean, obviously you need the laptop to get the software, but like if you have the laptop
or even an iPad.
Yeah, even an iPad. Or even if you don't have an Apple product, like you could get free DAWs on like Windows and stuff. I think having access to that kind of stuff is really important. When you're a kid and you're just like exploring and stuff, financial stuff can get in the way of you being able to pursue it. So yeah, that's definitely important. What kind of drew you to making drum and bass specifically then?
Just the atmospheric, and something I've been looking into recently is like nostalgia in music, and music holding like not necessarily like a time, but like it can take you back to a certain place. And being in a certain amount of people. Like here we go, McGee again. Yeah. There's an unreleased McGee song, and me and James used to go outside at 1 a.m. when we went on holiday with everyone, and we used to listen to it. And it just, every time I listen to it, I'm just there with James, Christian, and Mickey, and you, and we're just sat there, just chilling, listening to it. It's kind of like that thing. But it's only some songs. I don't know what it is, but certain songs have that. And with drum and bass, when I first started making it, it was always the melodies and the vocals that I kind of were like, this is really cool. And it was so melodic, and I just found it interesting, really.
Yeah, I think finding songs that really have that thing that you can't always figure out what it is. You can't be like, this is a good song because this. Sometimes it's just a feeling, or it's you just are like, this speaks to me, this makes me want to make music, whatever it is. Yeah. Those moments are definitely important. Yeah. Also, I think it's interesting that you did GarageBand and then Logic and doing drum and bass, because I know a lot of people who do drum and bass are like in FL or sometimes maybe Ableton even.
Ableton a lot for like EDM stuff and electronic stuff, because it's so, you can manipulate different stuff so much and so well. I kind of feel like Logic's I just work in Logic so much better. Yeah. I've tried to learn FL, didn't really like it. Yeah. Like I can use it, but it's Ableton's good. I'm going to look at Ableton a bit more, to be honest, because I think it would be better to learn it in the long run. Because then I've got two under my belt, so I've got Logic and Ableton. But yeah.
Also for the live stuff, going into that.
Yeah, the live stuff.
Ableton's really cool for that. All of their gear as well, using Ableton Live is very, very
and
cool.
Ableton Push as well.
Yeah.
Ableton Push is really cool.
Yeah. What does the future look like for you creatively? Like, what are your biggest like aspirations, and what are some of the smaller ones?
So I'm making my album at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm tying it into my university project as well. That's something I've wanted to do for a long time. It's going to have drum and bass stuff in it, but it's going to be all kinds of like stuff, and just my whole idea about it is music that I want to make, kind of rooting back to why I started, which was to create art and to create cool sounding music. Another thing would be I'm sending lots of beats to big artists. I'm getting them sent. I'm not sending them directly, but I'm getting them sent. So hopefully a big placement with one of them would be cool. Yeah, just keeping on like that, really.
So, I mean, obviously talking about this right now, but like talk to me about your new music a little bit more.
I'm focusing on, again, creating nostalgia and trying to find that, not vibe, but way to capture people's emotions in a song and kind of really like make people, it sounds a bit cliche, but make people emotional through my tracks. So I don't just want to focus on drum and bass stuff. I want to focus on like ambient stuff. I want to focus on experimental stuff and just see where I can take it, but in the same time keep the core aspect of making music for myself. So yeah, something like that.
You've mentioned before that a lot of your beats, the way that you kind of make them, you often start over if you don't see the immediate potential in them.
Yeah.
Has that always been like a way that you've worked, and what kind of is the mindset behind that ethos?
It's some people frown upon that and they say just trust the process, but it's kind of, I see it as building like a house. Like if the foundations of a house aren't good, then the roof is going to fall off, or, you know, so it's not going to get anywhere. And I kind of see that with when I make a beat. So if I'm writing the chords to something and the chords aren't working, just scrap it and start again. I even get onto the drums, so I finish a melody and then I start on the drums and I'm like, actually I don't like this, I'm just going to delete it all. It happens, and it's just like a thing of building the house, and I have to build it step by step. And if the root notes, literally the root sort of 4, 5 notes work really well, I can hear them working, then I know it's going to be good. But if they don't, I'll just scrap it.
That's really, I think that says a lot for like how much you trust yourself creatively as well. You're like, I can recognize when something is working and I trust my own instincts, which is really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. What was the turning point then that led you to being like, I'm going to pursue this as a career rather than this is something I really enjoy?
I didn't want to, I'm a very firm believer of everyone has a purpose, and I just didn't see my purpose being in an office, to be honest. I don't want to work in an office, and I want to make music that people enjoy and I enjoy, and I want to collaborate with people, and I want to just make cool stuff, and that's the root of it. I don't see myself working in an office doing a 9 to 5. I just want to make, and that's what I think this is going to sound cringe, but like I think I was put on this earth to make music.
Definitely not cringe. It's what all creative people are trying to achieve. It's like, this is what I was meant to do. Not even creative people. Everyone's trying to find their reason to live. Everyone's trying to
it's kind of like a lot of my friends are doing different stuff, and they don't do exactly what I do. But I'm not gonna be rude to them or like say, you know, you need to do what they want to do what they want to do. I've got a friend who's like, he's just built his own house, and he's a builder, and he owns a building company. He's doing really well. It's like doing great for himself, and it's like I couldn't be prouder of him. Do you know what I mean? Because he's doing what he wants to do. So
that's really cool. Yeah. I think a lot of people think that our generation aren't sure what we want to do, and that's like somewhat true for a lot of people. But I think one of the bigger things is a lot of people do know what they want to do, but they feel like they can't do it. They can't do it. Whether it's like, oh, I don't have the resources, or it's not something my parents want. What keeps you motivated then? Because obviously you have a very strong belief in your music yourself, kind of what you want to do. Is it just this sheer drive you can't really pinpoint? Is it like you just love the craft? Is it creating's an escape from something? Like I know a lot of people have different answers, but like it's a lot of
different things. So I'd say a lot of the reason I started was to be better. I always had a drive I saw other producers and how good they were, and I was like, I want to be this good. I want to be good, and I want to get better. So I always was like watching YouTube videos, researching how to do stuff every single day. And that's one big thing, is wanting to be better. And another thing is just once I've got a project and finished a project, you can reflect on it and look how good it is, and that feeling of, wow, this is really cool. And just the creative process, I'm in like a flow state of creating. I just love that, being in that position. And other people, like my friends, they're always doing stuff, so it's like, I need to do stuff.
Yeah, it's a nice like community to be in.
100%.
To be around like other people.
And creative people.
Yeah, whether they're like other musicians, being in that kind of space on your own making stuff or with people. Yeah, I don't think you can really beat it once you're like, oh, this thing is like, as you said before, what I was put on the earth to do, and I'm doing it, and like I'm enjoying it. You said that like one of the things is you wanted to be better, or you want to be better. Does that like ever discourage you? Do you ever go through like a dry spell and you're like...
all the time.
Yeah.
When I first started off, I was hesitant properly, you know, get the ball rolling with it. But the thing is, you just have to push through that and just carry on. Even if you don't make anything good, just carry on making stuff. and creating.
Good motto to apply.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
keep going, just keep making stuff. So I'm going to ask you a few quick fire kind of questions.
That's fine.
So one of the first ones is, what advice would you give to aspiring producers and musicians out there?
Don't give up. You've only got one life, you've only got one shot, so make the most of it and create art that you love and enjoy.
Oh yeah. Okay, one of the things we ask every guest is, which two artists would you put together as like a dream collaboration? The words that I put it, who are you shacking up together?
That's a difficult one. Probably, oh no, what have you done? What have you done? Probably Playboi Carti, and then some sort of underground UK artist. Like I was saying, with whole new sort of genre sort of stuff at the beginning, something like that. I'm not sure who, because there's so many, but something like that would be quite cool.
I like that you also picked like a big artist and then like somebody underground, because I think that that's something that's very good to hand over the torch to the new generation of artists. And you've obviously got here because somebody else has kind of given you that opportunity or whatever, and so like handing that back over to the next group of musicians, I think is really important, a really good thing. Who's your dream collab?
Oh, as in collab, what do you mean? Like working with someone, or like if I got someone on a beat?
It could be either. I mean, you could also give an answer for both.
I'm bringing up McGee again. I'd quite like to maybe work with McGee, but see his process. I think he's interesting. I think it would be cool to see how he works. I think someone like Playboi Carti on one of my beats would I'd probably cry. Something like that, something massive and crazy like that, probably.
I can see that. I think that'd be really cool for you. Yeah. What's your favourite piece of music you've ever created?
Can't say. I've got to say like a top 3 or something.
Yeah, top 3. Go for top 3.
2 pieces from my album at the moment. One piece I showed you about 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah. That one drum and bass song. It's a remix of Imogen Heap. Actually, can we go back to the first question, the question before this about who you'd work with?
Yeah.
I haven't mentioned her at all, but she's like one of my biggest inspirations.
Yeah.
Imogen Heap. Yeah.
Dream collab right there.
Dream collab would be Imogen Heap. Definitely. Yeah. What was the question? Sorry.
So what's like your favourite piece of music you've ever created, or like top 3?
Top 3. So I did a remix of an Imogen Heap song, and I love it to bits. Everyone I've showed it to so far says it's sick, so it's going to be on my album.
I can confirm.
There's another piece on my album. It's going to be the intro, and it's of a recording when I was in New York, and I was in a train station, and it was near the 9/11 museum, and it's this big, massive train station. It's got it looks like a rib cage, and it's really cool. And there was a piano smack bang in the middle, and I was sat there, and Mum and Dad had gone to get food or something, and I was sat there and I was listening, and this man was playing the piano, and he was just going crazy on it, and I got my thing out and I started recording it. And what I've been doing at the moment, it's really difficult, but I'm going to have it transition into the first song on the album seamlessly, and at the moment it sounds pretty cool. It sounds so cool. That, and then last one, probably some sort of like a rap beat. There's a couple really good rap beats that I've made, and I'm like, wow, this is fucking sick. So probably one of them. I couldn't pick one. So it's a bit of a broad answer.
The ones that I have heard, really, really good. Yeah, I'm really excited to hear them on like a full project.
Yeah, it would be cool.
What's a song that you wish you'd written or produced on, or Moment
by VA Cloud.
I don't know that one. Tell me about it.
It went very, very, very viral in 2021 and 2022. It still is kind of massive, but it's what inspired me to start making drum and bass. Nice. And it was that one song I was like, what the fuck is this genre? I need to make this. And it's a remix of an Imogen Heap song, because a lot of people remix Imogen Heap, because Imogen Heap is awesome. So it's probably that, and I just love it to bits. And it's got that whole thing of nostalgia, and that thing I was talking about earlier where it takes me back to a certain time, and what the whole feeling of it got, such a capturing feeling of emotion and everything inside it. And I wish I made it, to be honest, because it's such a cool song.
I'll definitely have to check that one out.
It's cool. It's a good song.
So who's a Midlands based artist you really love? I know we talked about some. I think I know the answer, but
it's probably gonna be Mickey Leah.
Yeah.
I've got to support the friends.
Yeah. I mean, she's also just incredible.
She's alright. She's alright.
She's gonna hear about this, and she's gonna come for you.
She got 2 shout outs in my podcast.
Yeah. So just a few final final then. What can people expect from you coming up? What are you currently working on? Obviously your album. Give them a synopsis of what you got going on and what they can look forward to.
So I'm working on a lot of beats. Made 110 beats last month. I'm sending a lot to bigger artists. So a lot of people in America, a lot of people in the UK. Just trying to get my stuff everywhere. So expect stuff for that. Expect big music stuff on the rap side. And then obviously my album. Yeah. I'm still working on that. So that's to come this year. I promise it will be this year sometime. But yeah, that really.
Nice. So I guess all I have to say now is subscribe to be alerted when we drop Tuesday's interview, and well, you're watching the interview. I mean performance, because that's going to be a sick one. You're definitely going to want to watch that, and obviously any of the other Shacking Up episodes. It might feature some new music. Your performance,
we'll have to see.
We'll see.
Might be lucky.
Yeah, and that will be posted kind of within the week of this interview, so you can expect to see that pretty close after. So definitely watch out for that. But yeah, thank you if you made it this far. Share music with your friends, make music with your friends, all of that good stuff. I think that's definitely like the takeaway from today.
Definitely.
Yeah, your friends are your people.
100%.
Work with them, don't work with them, have a good time, do stuff that makes you...
Remember to make music for you.
Yes.
Remember to make music for you.
From me and 7 You'd, and this has been Shacking Up.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
No problem at all.
Shacking Up with FREYA MCCARTHY.